Hi, good morning. Okay, so far we have seen inbound and outbound emails, and in yesterday's hope you guys have seen or not. Uh, when we having this inbound email and we are checking the attachments, we are trying to read the attachment that we send from an email, and it is we're adding that emails as an attachments to the record. So let's check that once and let's get continued. Um, um, I'm looking at all accounts. Something called Shakti Pumps, I remember what we created. Not this one. Accounts. This one, Shakti Pumps from inbound. There we are trying to give a website phone number and we are saving the attachments to the emails as an attachments to the account. So we have some docs that are added to here. So I can see those. So these are all about inbound and outbound emails. Now let us look at previously we have seen that rendering a Visualforce page as a PDF, right? So we have created one Visualforce page and seen that how to render that as a PDF. Now let's check how to render a Visualforce page as a Word and Excel. For PDF, we'll use where render as will give a PDF, where we can also render them as a Word or Excel also we can do. Then how the tags we need to give option here. Let's try out. So here we have Visual Force page as a PDF. Now let's create a Visual Force page. Visual Force page as a Word file. Instead of render as, we'll be having a content type. The content type equal to application and forward slash and a MS Word and save. Then if you do a preview, it will directly get downloaded as a Word file. And similarly, we can have a Visualforce page as an Excel. Where we can VST mess Excel hash my Excel file dot XLS. So it's going to be a file name of Excel. So let's take this example as well. So vnd dot msxl. That is what the content type you have to give, and then followed by the hash and the file name. So it's going to be a file name. So I don't need this buttons. I don't like to have it, and I don't need all this tables. I'll do a preview. So we'll open this one. So this Excel also getting downloaded. Let's see how it looks, and we'll see how the file looks. I can see how it looks. The Word file was. This is how the Word file will be generating from a Visualforce page. Let's write something about. It will also load as a Excel. That is all here. Rendering a Visualforce page as a either Excel or Word. Any file you will be having, then just we need to check the syntax or format for the content type as a similar way. It's all about here. And Apex sharing. If you remember, when we are discussing about sharing rules and all, so when we have a record level sharing, a record when the object OWD is defined as a private or public read only, then only we have a scope of sharing a record. If the OWD is public read write, that means whatever the records in the object, it can be accessible by everyone in the org. And when we have this concept of sharing, whether the OWD is in private or public read, then we can even go for Apex sharing. So when we're in the Apex sharing, usually when we do Apex sharing, through our triggers only, we do Apex sharing. Okay, in trigger, certain event like after update or after insert. So what are all the conditions we have? Like if you have a criteria based sharing or owner based sharing, you will be having the criteria, and on the criteria you will be sharing the records to a specific user or a group of users. You will be sharing the record, but you don't have anything extra. But if you want to do a Apex sharing where you have some other records you need to check, or user record on specific fields you need to check, and then based on those fields, and again you will do a query and you will decide the to whom to share in those kind of complex scenarios. We'll go for a Apex sharing. And once you need to do Apex sharing, how to do and what are all the need to do a Apex sharing. Let's say I have an object called objects already I'm having. Let's look at how to enable them as a private objects and start doing. So where we can check the OWD of an object. Sharing settings. So here, what are all the objects that we have are private and public here. Only those objects only we can share the record. Okay, now we have a object called a project, which is in OWD as a private. So let's have this project. But before doing Apex sharing, we needed one thing called a row cause. The row cause or a sharing reason is required to do a Apex sharing. So what is this row cause or sharing reason is? So when we're doing the Apex sharing, we have to mention a reason why it is being shared to a specific user or a specific group, because of region, because of same office, or it could be any reason that what is the reason behind sharing of a record. And if any case in the future, if you want to, if you don't want the records to be shared with that sharing reason, in order to do anything, just you can go ahead and delete the sharing reason, that all the records that are shared on basis of that sharing reason or row cause, that will also removed. So who all the records shared through that reason, they no longer see the records with the same reason. Either they lose the record access, why? Because mm, the organization decide to not to share the record because of that reason. The reason is no longer valid, and you can remove the access using that row cause. Okay, how to give that row cause? Let's go into the project. It looks like a new concept. Restriction rules. Full name, this criteria and all. This is not one. Sharing rules. Actually, we don't have it in a lightning. We used to have it only in a classic. Only we had that option. Was just checking whether we have this option enabled in lightning or not. Sharing grant access, filter, refined access, rule set. UI only. Okay, let's jump on to the classic ones. Here you can see Apex sharing reasons. Apex sharing reasons create new. So let's say what is my reason was saying my reason one. The reason I'm saying my reason one is here it is my reason. The API name is something like this. Then how I'm going to share the Apex records. Okay, so now let's go into the project records. In project records, let's go to any project and see what is the sharing on it and do some Apex sharing and see it. Again, same. Again. Again, switching to classic. Projects. Add-on project. Now I would like to see sharing. So you can see right. Now we have a this is the batch one SF tech where I was full access, where I was owner. I have one more other that is I'm going to share to a role that is sales manager role, and which is a read-only access with the custom object sharing rule. Now I would like to share this to other users. Let's see who are all the other users available. Now I would like to share with this user like a team at sftech.com. Okay, now let's write some code. Class Apex sharing project. Now here, mm, void. I would say share project records with the team user. So this method purpose was to share the records to a user called team user. Okay, then what needs to be done? So I will allow the list of IDs, nothing but a project ID, a list. So this contains the list of project IDs that I would like to share, and then I'd like to share with a team user. That's what my purpose of this one. The first thing what I need to do was I should have the object called a project share. That is project underscore share. This is the object that I'm going to have. Let's look at what are all the fields that I need to populate for creating a project share. So project share, and I would say p share, that is an object. No project share. Here I need to set all the values for that feature. So first one is the ID. So I need to worry about the ID. Once I create the record, it will generate it. It will get generated. So I don't need to worry about the ID and the parent ID. What is the parent ID? Parent ID is nothing but a record of my project. So that I will give here. Okay, nothing to worry about that. And then what else I have? A user or a group ID. So I need a user or a group ID to whom I would like to share with. And then what else I have? A access level. So access level is going to be a read or a edit. That's is going to be a your access level. So for now I will give a read, and then what else I have is last modified by ID, last modified date is deleted. So nothing else is required. All you need is a is a required one. It is, yeah, we have a row cause. Here we have a row cause. We share dot a row cause we have to give. So for giving a row cause, we go to a schema dot project underscore share dot row cause dot. We have an API name that we stored over here, right? That name is what going to be a your row cause. So schema means it's all a metadata. So in that we're going to look for this object, this object, the row cause. We are looking for the my reason one, the API name of your row cause. Now, how to give a parent ID and a user ID. So what are the records that you would like to share? So I would like to share this IDs through this method parameter, right? So what I will do is I'll do a for loop and iterate over here. So I'll say ID project ID equal to project ID list, and here I'd like to give this inside this one. So this project ID is going to be my parent ID, who is a user or a group ID. So now to whom I would like to share? I would like to share team user. So select ID from user object where username equal to something that we're seeing over here. This is the username. So once I have this one, you limit one, and team user.id. Team user.id is my sharing. So I need to insert this share records. So let's create the share records. We shares. Once you have everything ready, then you're going to insert those records. That's it. Okay, so we are looking at one example, right? So the parent record is this one. So let's see, after I do execute that code, what will be this list? Okay, so I'm copying this ID of this record, and I would like to call this method. So let's save it or not. I like to call this method subex sharing for project dot share project records to the new list of ID. It's going to be a so, and I'm going to execute this one, execute highlighter. So I don't see any error. Now I would like to see what is the status. We see only 2 rows before. Now you see there is one more row saying that it is a my reason one is the reason and access level is read only, and then you have as a team. Now, um, project record, project records, read with the team user. Now, I like to give a edit with a different method. That is a edit. I like to give a edit access and run the same logic. Hmm. Okay, let's try whether it's saved or not. Not sure. Let's try it out. Internal error processing team notice. Okay, now it is saved. Let's get highlighted. Okay, now it's executed. Now I'm trying to refresh. Previously it is read only we having. Now you see it is both read and a write. Okay, this is how we share a Apex sharing. So all you need to remember was we need to have a create the share records. So while creating a share records, you need to look for a parent ID, user or a group ID, or access level, row cost. Row cost is a Apex sharing reason for the object that you created, and here the allowed values are read or edit. Here allowed values are user ID or a group ID. So let's say if you want to give it to the group ID of the record that you would like to share. Okay, that is all that you need to know about this one. So let's say if you having something to share with a group of users, how to share with a group. So this is called a group object. We can see what is different groups available. So we have a role and groups also coming into this group. So let me add this type also. So instead of a role and role subordinates internal, you also part of it. Yes, user custom portal. So we don't have a group, but we don't have a group. It looks like. So you had to query on this group where we have a public group. Then you have to give that ID of that group. It could be any. You can share with the roles. You can share with the role and role subordinates.